This year, we reached a significant milestone of early retirement. Although a lot of planning was involved, there was one simple decision that made it all possible. In this video, we're sharing the first real step in anyone's retirement journey, choosing your retirement date.
We'll walk you through 3 things that we think will help start you on your countdown to retirement.
Hi, we are Sean and Tina. We retired early, sold almost everything, and now traveling the world full time. We will show you how you can live abroad comfortably on $2,500 a month with real budgets, tips, and destinations that can make retirement affordable and exciting. So, hit that subscribe button and see how you can retire sooner, travel longer, and live more. Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you are new here, welcome, and to our current subscribers, we want to welcome you back as well.
One of the main reasons we started our channel was to inspire others by sharing our journey. Even our journey started with some uncertainty, but we're here to tell you that you don't have to have every answer today. You just need to start.
As simple as it sounds, the moment you choose your retirement date is the moment your journey actually begins.
So I can speak from experience. Choosing your date is actually going to change your behavior, both consciously and unconsciously. So for me, I believe as far back as I can remember, I just thought that I would retire at the age of 55. So when I was working, that was just kind of what I was operating off of. It was kind of a running joke, even in my company. Most of my coworkers knew that once I reached the age of 55, that I was going to retire. So when I did reach that age, what happened was I ended up retiring from the company I had worked with for, I think, 20 years at that time. But I wasn't quite ready to start what I was going to do after retirement. So maybe that's a lesson learned for some of you who are thinking about it. So what I did was I took another job. I knew that was going to be temporary until Tina and I could kind of finalize our plans. And I worked there for about, I guess, 3 years or so. That took me to age 58. So once, and if those of you who have followed us know, through work, I was able to do some international travel. And at that time, Tina and I had started to research whether or not we could live abroad, and that allowed us to experience living outside the country to get an understanding of whether or not we were going to be able to do that. So that international work experience allowed Tina and I to get a very good understanding of whether or not we were going to be able to live over there, and we started the plans to start moving towards that goal. When we did that, I was able to set my second retirement date, which was March the 28th of this year. And when that date came, I was out. So we're gonna let Tina share her story, because hers is a little different than mine.
So for me, when Sean was thinking about retirement, at that time I had set a date for the end of 2026, December 2026. And while he was making his arrangements to retire, I was just moving right along with plans to retire December 2026. But then I stopped and I thought about it. And I think for me, the reason why I set my date so far out is because of the fear that I had of actually telling my board members. And for some of you all that have watched our previous videos, that was my biggest fear, was just sitting down in a board meeting and letting them know that I was retiring. So after I thought about it a little bit more, and Sean was going to be retiring in March, and I was going to of 2025, and me retiring in December 2026. I thought to myself, he'll just be sitting around waiting on me, looking at me, going, "Where can we go?" And I'm going, "Well, I do work from home, so I could pack up and go anywhere, but it just would not have been fair to either one of us." So after we just kind of looked back through everything, I then decided to push that date up to March 28, 2025. For us, it wasn't a big issue. Like I said, for me, it was just fear. It wasn't anything financially to do with it. It was just basically fear.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys can all relate to this because I'm sure if you're watching this video, these are some things that are on your mind, retiring early. I went out at 58 and Tina was
53.
53, yeah. So, I know we all operate under the assumption that we'll work until the quote unquote retirement age, which is a moving target, seems to be.
And I think that retirement age is grouped in with Social Security
Absolutely.
age.
Yeah.
But I think, if this is something you're considering, you need to set your own date.
Right. So if you don't feel like you're really ready to commit to a specific date, we would encourage you to maybe, get a little more general. Like maybe instead of our case, March 28, 2025, you just set a day, a month, like December of 2026, like Tina did. Or maybe you go in the summer of 2026, or some of you may want to do a milestone. Like for me, originally, it was an age. So, there's definitely some options for you, if you're not ready to commit to that date. But I will say this based on my own experience. When I started out at that original age of 55, subconsciously, all of my decisions, once I realized that was my target, I was making decisions based on leaving work at 55, which meant like my investments. I got a little more serious about my investments and understanding when I needed them to mature. Some of the other things like maybe major purchases, eliminating debt. So, once you set that date, you may not realize it, but then your life is gonna start, moving in the direction towards achieving that goal. And so I would encourage you, again, if you can't set a date, at least set, maybe a month, a year, a season, or a milestone.
Even though it was a little uncomfortable, once we picked our date, everything shifted. We stopped guessing and started planning. After we picked our date, we actually started brainstorming as to what we wanted our life to look like. So we started off with a budget. We kept it really simple, and we also just kind of made it flexible because, budgets, you don't quite know exactly what you need, so you're probably kind of in between.
Right.
So, that's one thing we didn't do was stress over it. We just made it a little bit flexible, gave ourselves some wiggle room there.
Right.
Also, you need to decide what you want your lifestyle to look like.
Yeah.
Whether you want to slow travel, like we're doing, if you want to possibly take on a part-time work, or hobbies,
Yeah, and not to interrupt you, Tina, but along with the hobbies, earlier in the video, Tina stated that she had planned on retiring at the end of next year. So what I was going to do in the interim, I'm a huge sports fan. So what I started doing was I started looking at ways that I could volunteer, and also I like to officiate high school sports. So I was planning on officiating high school basketball and high school volleyball. In fact, I'm certified right now to do those sports. And then I also found a way to volunteer for the local state golf association. So what that allowed me to do was to volunteer for tournaments throughout the state, and I participated in, those of you who golf would understand, we would handicap golf courses in the area. So from a hobby standpoint, there's a lot of options out there, especially if you're willing to volunteer, and you can do some things that you are very interested in and may not have had time to do before you retired.
Very good, very good. Also, you can start downsizing, just kind of not going in real hard, but just maybe taking a room at a time,
Right.
just kind of cleaning out, starting with seasonal items.
Yeah.
So those are some things there to kind of get you started. Also, we talked about our location, what our home base would be once we started traveling. And early on in one of our videos, we did decide to have our home base at our parents' house. Mm-hmm. So that has worked out really great for us.
So those are just some things, some food for thought. Once you come up with that date, these are things you're gonna have to decide at some point anyway. So we just wanted to kind of share them with you now, so you start the wheels turning to help you, give you a roadmap for what you need to do. If you're not quite ready to commit to a retirement date yet, here are some action items that we would like you to consider that will still support your retirement goal. The first one I can think of is we opened a high yield savings account to start saving money for our travel. Everybody's path is going to be different. For us, that was one of the financial things that we felt would put us in a better position once we retired. And so we were able to do that and start to save some money that we could use for retirement.
Another thing that I can think of that we did was we looked at our monthly subscriptions that we had. Yeah. We either reduced the cost on those or just straight out cancel them. Yeah. When you have a subscription like we did for years and years, you can go a while without looking at those. They can even just be as simple as your internet bill or your cable bill, right, or your telephone bill, something that you started years ago and you haven't even looked back to see if they've gotten some new offers in. So those are things that we did, and that immediately will start you to saving some money.
Yeah, I could tell another one that some of the parents will get a kick out of is when we really started to ratchet it up, really started, aggressively downsizing. One of the things we did was we let our kids know that were on our cell phone plans. We said, look, this is the date. We're gonna start getting rid of expenses. So you guys are gonna have to assume responsibility for your cell phone service. So we did give them some warning, and we shared this with some of our friends. They thought it was pretty funny, but when you get into retirement, you're gonna have to be eliminating those unnecessary costs. Mm-hmm. And so we let our kids know, hey, this is what we're doing, this is what you're gonna have to do, so be prepared to do that. Another thing I would recommend that you could maybe commit to now, if you're not ready to commit to an actual date, is make a health commitment. For us, we knew we were gonna be traveling abroad, and we knew that was gonna entail a lot of walking. So what we started doing every day after dinner, we would go out for a walk. And we worked our way up gradually from about a half a mile to about 3 miles. Mm-hmm. And that was kind of how we started our health journey. So these are some things, although it's not an official retirement date, these are all things that are still going to be valuable to you once you do retire.
We hope that our story has inspired you to take the first step toward this wonderful milestone. If you're watching this video, maybe you've already considered your own exit plan.
And we're here to tell you that you have earned it.
No one will tell you the perfect time. You get to choose it yourself.
If this video has resonated with you, please drop your retirement date in the comments. We'd love to see what you guys are thinking for your retirement. You don't have to do an exact date. If you like to, you can do a season or you can do a milestone. But we'd like to see in the comments what you guys are thinking about retirement. Now, if you're not ready to commit to a date, you can do the other option. You know, if you're looking at maybe starting the high yield savings account or a health commitment, or maybe even the downsizing, like reducing some of your subscription, then just leave a thumbs up in the comments so we can start that retirement journey.
We love sharing our journey with our viewers. And if you found one thing in this video that resonated with you, please like this video, subscribe to this video. It costs nothing to subscribe. And this will also let us know that you love hearing the information that we give you, and that will also allow us to keep giving you that information. Thanks for watching. And we'll see you in the next one.